Today I'm going to show you our new and improved face masks. I'm super excited about these. I've been working on them forever, as you probably know if you've been following along on the blog. I've already put up an instructional tutorial on how to make our first version, which looks like this. This is the foam frame, but of course I only had a fabric filter window on these. And this was fine for me and John when we were only leaving the house like twice a month for 20 minutes. But now that we're working outside the house more often, we wanted something a little more durable and a little easier to clean. So we've made these, which I'm super excited about. And I'm going to show you all the fun features and why you want to make one of these yourself, because oh my gosh, it's so cool. Okay, so first of all, the fact is these straps are the best thing. In fact, you could add these straps to your own masks and it would make such a world of difference. This is all one piece of elastic. And you see how I can slide through these eyelets that we've got on the side? Let me show you the cool part about this. To put on the mask, you slide it so that the lower one's longer, put it over your head, and get your hair out. Help. There we go. Then, to put it on, all you have to do is grab the top strap and stick your chin in and go like this. And then you pinch the nose. See how it's on? No more sticking around the ears, no more pain with that. And it automatically tightens both straps, so it's, you know, maximum comfort. But then, when you want to take it off, you just take down the top strap, grab the sides of the masks, pull it down, and see how I can just rest it on my chest like that? So it's out of the way, but I don't have to touch it. This is John's favorite part about these masks, because he has to go in and out of stores a lot of times. And this way, he doesn't have to contaminate it by, you know, touching it or throwing it in the car. And when he wants to put it on again, all he has to do is grab the strap and go like that, hands-free. The other great thing about these masks, because they're made of this craft foam, it's kind of spongy, it's nice and comfortable, but it also seals really well around the face. I'm gonna use this one because you can see the foam better. But see how it's touching all the way around my face? It gets a little bit sticky and kind of sticks to the face, and it doesn't move around. So everyone I've ever talked to in a fabric mask, they are constantly touching their mask. I'm sure you guys have noticed this too. It's sliding down the nose, it's gapping here, it's just moving around on your face as you talk. With these, they stick in place and they don't move. I've worn this one, I think, up to 3 and 4 hours working with John, and I've never had to adjust my mask. It just sticks in place. It's wonderful. And probably the best feature about this that most people have told me that they like about this versus your homemade fabric masks, this, as you can see how it's kind of a muzzle, it sticks out from your face, like that. This is giving you extra room around your nose and mouth. Nothing is touching your nose or mouth. So a lot of people I know have said they feel like almost they're being suffocated or something because the fabric gets sucked into their mouth every time they breathe. That's never gonna happen with these. And that's probably the #1 thing people have noticed when they put this on versus the regular fabric mask, is just all that extra breathing room in there is so much more comfortable. Nothing tickling your nose, nothing getting in your mouth. And that's really awesome. On the off chance you did follow my first tutorial from a couple weeks ago to make one of these masks, and now you want to make one of these masks, don't worry, because it's the exact same template. And actually I've been converting some of my old masks into the new style. All you have to do is take out the fabric window and make the hole a little bit bigger. That's literally it. You can reuse your same foam, reuse your same grommets, because I know I used some eyelets and I was like, oh no, I lost all that hardware. But it's not that bad. Like I said, all you have to do is just cut this hole bigger. I think you can see this is the old, this is the new. Again, same template, same pattern. It's just with a larger hole so that you've got a little bit more surface area when you put the fabric over it. Now I know a lot of you already have a bunch of masks because we've all been buying and, you know, stocking up on fun ones, not so fun ones, that kind of thing. So I want to show you can still use a lot of your existing masks with the foam frame that I'm going to show you how to make in a minute. So here I've taken just a basic disposable mask that a lot of us are wearing, the you know, the blue ones, and I have tied the ear loopies into a smaller loop and just fit it over top of the foam frame. Hopefully you can see how I've done that, just like that. Now, this gives you automatically all the same advantages of my fabric mask. You can still use the straps, you still have the extra room around your nose and mouth, and it seals so much better than these paper masks do on their own. Because I'm sure you've noticed everyone wearing these huge gaps on the ears, underneath the chin, and under the eyes. With this one, as soon as you put it on, again, that foam is sealing all around the face and makes this mask so much more effective. You can also do this, any pleated mask works great with these. So here's a white cotton one that a friend bought for us. And I've opened up just a little bit of the pleats, just enough to cover, because you can see the holes inside the foam frame. You just need to cover those. It's okay if the rest of the foam is showing. And then I just knotted the ear loopies. It kind of crumples it a little bit here, but once it's on my face, it forms out okay. So again, you just knot the ear loopies, slide it over, and then feed your straps through so that it won't fall off. And then that makes that mask, again, so much more effective. Here's a prettier mask that a friend of mine made. This is one of the center seam masks that I like a lot better because they already fit the face better. But say you want to still put it on the foam frame just to give yourself some more room and to use those straps. You can still, as you can see, look how nicely that fits over really well. And these are just little string ties, but I would just tie it in a knot, just like that. Okay, so if I've convinced you, do you want one of these? If so, then I'm gonna show you how to make one right now. First, let's go over what you're going to need. This is just to make the foam template first, so we do this in stages. You're going to need some craft foam, obviously. This is just the basic 2mm stuff in your choice of color. You're going to need our paper template from Epbot. This is the same template I shared before. Let me show you the original. The only difference is the size of the holes. So if you already have the original, just cut these a little bit bigger. But if not, go grab this one. That's the new and improved one. You're going to need some contact cement. Show you this here. This is $8 for this whole can, and you only need a tiny bit of it. You need a couple of Q-tips to apply the contact cement. You'll need one paper clip. That's for the nose bridge. You'll need some eyelets. This is probably the most specific thing and a little bit harder to get, but any craft store should probably carry these in the scrapbooking aisle. These are 2-part eyelets. It's got a back and this. This makes the strap go through the mask much easier, so I highly recommended those. So eyelets, and then you'll need a setter for them. I have a crocodile. Tools, you'll need some scissors and a hot glue gun. I think that's everything. Trace your template onto your craft foam and then cut out. Before I cut out this center section here, I like to seal the foam with an iron, so we're going to do that real quick. If you've never sealed foam before, then get a scrap piece to test. Here's what you want to have happen. Turn up your iron and do this really quick. And you see how the sheen changed there? See how it's shiny on this side? That's what you want. So only add enough heat to your iron to just get to that and no more, or else you'll make the foam will shrink a bit. So once you're happy with that texture, go ahead and get the real one. And here's how I like to do it. I start in the middle and then swipe out. And I flip it over, swipe out. And again, it's just changed the texture a little bit, add a little bit of a shine. This is making it slightly less porous, and you want to do both sides. Just like that. And like that. Now I do have steam on my iron. It doesn't matter if you have it or not. It just adds a little bit with the heat, I think. You also want to seal the paperclip cover. And again, this is making it slightly less porous, so it won't absorb as much of your breath and your sweat, and makes it a little easier to clean. Plus, I just like the shine. Now most of our foam frame is going to be covered by the fabric cover, but I still like to add a leather texture anyway, just because I think it looks cool. So to do that, just get a piece of tin foil, crumple it up. You're going to place it over the mask, and then you're going to iron over it. Now this one you can go a little slower with. It doesn't have to be as fast as when you're sealing the foam. And you're going to lift it up. Give it a little bit. Let me do a little bit more on this side to show you a bit better. Press it in, come out. Now you see how it's starting to give sort of that wrinkly leather texture? Now that our pieces are sealed, I'm going to go ahead and cut out that center bit. Next, let's place the eyelets here. So get your template back out, and you probably already punched the holes there. Just place it on top. You're marking the front of the mask, and I just use a toothpick to kind of poke where the holes go. Just like that. They probably don't show on camera, but I can see them. Then you're going to take these tabs and fold them down, flip it over. Get a nice little crease there. And now the holes that you just poked are visible right here. So you're going to get your hole punch, which I'm using my crocodile for this. And sorry, this is going to be hard to do on camera. Here we go. And then you're just going to place your crocodile. And then see, there's the hole. And just do that for all 4 holes. Now use a little bit of hot glue right here. Put this in here. Just on the tab, just a little bit. And fold that down. Again, just a little hot glue. You don't want this going everywhere. Okay, now we can do the nose piece. And we're already on the back side because we textured this side. So on the back, you're gonna grab your paper clip and you're gonna bend that open into a shape like this. Usually you can do it with your fingers, if not, get some little pliers. You want it to look right about like that. And again, you're gonna use a dab of hot glue just to hold it in place. Just a little bit. That looks good. And you might want to check with your paper clip cover here just to make sure that's placed well. Looks okay. When you're happy with that, now you're going to use a bunch of hot glue and just cover your paper clip. That was Eva saying hello if you heard that. Okay. Get a nice fat bead of glue on there. And what I like to do with this is start at the top. Hopefully you can see this. And press the top edge down first. I'm not so concerned about the bottom right now. That top bit is a good seal. And then when I'm happy with the top, then I kind of smush the bottom down a little bit. Also, my paper clips are a little bit long, so they're just barely poking out. Go. You can also pick it up to kind of check it and smush with your fingers. Don't smash it too much though, because then that will show through on the front. Okay, so once this is done, sometimes I like to just cut these little points off. I mean, again, totally optional, but sometimes they're just sticking in the way, so I just sort of, boink. There we go. And that's the back of your mask done with the wire and the holes punched. I like to leave installing the eyelets until the very last, so before we do that, let's go ahead and glue up the center seam with the contact cement. The reason I like to leave it for last is sometimes I screw this part up, and then I don't want to waste the eyelets. So we're gonna grab our contact cement, get that lid off. And again, I've found that Q-tips are awesome for applying contact cement because it's very gooey. And I'll show you all the tricks I've learned after making 60 or 70 of these masks. You want to hold it straight up like this, so you're looking down at the edge. And because I'm right-handed, I like to have the back side of the mask facing right. Take your Q-tip, you're going to dip it into the contact cement just a little bit, about half the Q-tip or so. And then mine's getting really stringy, so you can kind of just roll it back and forth between your fingertips to get all the strings off. And now you're going to apply it just to the very edge of the mask. Once you're done putting on the first coat, you want to let this dry for about 30 seconds or so. I found that's the best amount of time. You want it to get to the point where it's still tacky but not stringy sticky if you were to touch it. And again, this is only the first coat, we're going to do a second. So just give it about 20 seconds. I like to flap it around like a butterfly. Now we're going to do it again for the second coat. The second coat can be a little thinner if you like. After the second coat, again, give it about 30 seconds, and you're looking for this to be tacky, but not where it'll stick to your finger as you move your finger away. Like, you don't want any stringiness, just tacky, which I've found takes about another 30 seconds. Now comes the fun part. We're gonna put it together. This is a little tricky, so pay very close attention. This is the front side. We're going to keep it with the front side facing up, okay? Now, place your thumbs like this. And you're gonna need a flat surface, ideally with something like a smooth paper or a mat. You're gonna place it down, and you're going to bend inward, keeping your thumb pushing it forward. Getting started is the hardest part, but hopefully you saw that. Now you're gonna press the edges together, and smush it with your thumb, roll it forward a little, lay it flat on the surface, bring those edges together, smash it with your thumb, and just keep on going. Just gonna roll it forward. Okay, once you've done all that, go ahead and smoosh the edges. Now again, that's the good side is inside, so we've done this inside out. Now you're gonna go to the back and see how it's starting to separate here. Go in the back and pinch it. Pinch it, and you can also do this. See how I'm pressing it inward just to bring those edges together. You want the flat sides meeting together as much as possible. If that doesn't make sense, just copy what I'm doing. So again, feel free to just kind of wobble the foam back and forth just to get that edge nice and tight. Also keep an eye on your backside edge here. That part likes to separate, so just make sure that's nice and snug. And then we're gonna leave this turned inside out to go ahead and set up for another, give it a good 10 minutes or so. So just once you're happy with it, you think it looks nice and tight, just set it aside for about 10 minutes. Last step, we're gonna flip our mask inside out and put the eyelets in. Now to flip it, you wanna just smoosh it, flip the tabs. And it's gonna look really funky until you bend that clip up just a little bit. Now the first time you wear your mask, you're gonna wanna squish the nose wire in. But for now, we'll just do it a little bit. And that is your foam frame. See, there's the inside with there. So the last thing we're gonna do is put the eyelets in. And again, I only save this for last because sometimes my seam will go wonky and then I wanna try again. And the eyelets, you know, they're not super expensive, but they add up. So I'm just gonna put the eyelets in. Now again, mine are two-sided eyelets. If you can find a one-sided one, that's fine too. But let me just show you. I'm gonna pop it into the hole here. Oh, sorry, I just realized I'm not on camera. There we go. Gonna squish it in like that, and then I'm gonna put the back side on and use my crocodile just to swoosh it. Okay, and there you go. I'm just gonna repeat that for all four. And that's the foam frame all done. See, I got the pretty eyelets, nose guard. Now, if you're gonna use this with some masks you already own, if you wanna modify those to fit on these, then you're all done. But we're gonna go ahead and keep going to make our custom little fabric covers. And these, you can see, also have eyelets in them so that they fit right on top. And then the eyelets match up so that when I thread them with the elastic, it holds on the fabric. You can also see that my template shows some of the foam on top here. That's just because I like the look. I like the little bit of the contrast. And I have to give a shout out to my friend Tracy, is the one who came up with the idea to make the fabric covers like this with the eyelets. Her version covers all of it. So really the only difference, like I said, is that mine shows a little bit of that. But let's make this part. For this fabric cover, I'm using this really fun rainbow batik cotton that John fell in love with at the store. So we're gonna make it this way. So of course you're gonna need some plain cotton fabric. Just any sort of quilting fabric will work. And then you're gonna need to go to Epbot and get our free template. This one is a little different than the first template. Let me show you. This one you can see has been modified a little bit to allow for the seam allowance. So you're gonna grab this. You can see mine's all marked up. And then, because we want 2 layers of it, I found it's easier to just fold it up, lay it on top. Now, my template does not have the seam allowance on it. So keep that in mind when you're placing it. You wanna leave a little bit of space around the edges. And then I'm sure that the real sewers out there are going to cringe at this, but I just use a Sharpie and outline my template directly onto the fabric. There's my outline. Now I'm going to go ahead and pin these 2 layers of fabric together. This just makes it easier so you can cut them out at once. I have also, to save, like if you have a fabric you really like, you can back it with a plain color fabric. I've been backing some of mine with black fabric. In fact, I can show you that on this one here. I really like this fabric. So to save it, I just used plain black cotton on the back side. But it really is easy to just take a fabric and just fold it and cut it. So I'm going to pin this and then cut this out. I've cut this out. You can see I've left a little bit of a seam allowance around. It's pinned. This is with both of the right sides of the fabric in, so these are the wrong sides out. And now I'm going to sew on these lines here, but not these, only around the edge. And now I'm just going to trim down the seam allowance because you can see I left a honking amount of room there, technical term. So I'm just gonna trim this down and then we'll flip it inside out. I'm just going to go iron this real quick. Once this is nice and flat, decide which side you want to have as the good side, the side that's going to show out. I think I'll go with this one. So that is going to go in. So fold it. And if you did it correctly, these 2 edges should be approximately the same size. I'm actually kind of impressed that I managed to do that. Okay, so we're going to fold it in half. And now what we're gonna do is run a stitch right up this line here. Here's my stitch line here. You can see it's not great because I'm not great at sewing. But again, the important thing is just that you have a nice curve. So now the moment of truth. Oh, that's fun. Look, John, it's like orange and blue.
Oh, cool.
Okay. And there is your cover. Yay. Now what we should probably do, and what I need to do, well, first I'm gonna trim this a little bit, but also I need to hit it with some fray block because as you can see, I've got some raw edges here. But that's gonna be on the inside, so it's never gonna show. There you go. And then when you get your frame, boop-a-doo, this is going to fit right on top like that. Now all that we have to do, and I'm not going to show it on camera because you've already seen me do this, we're just going to add some more eyelets on the fabric itself. I will say that to place them, it's best to go ahead and put it over your foam frame, flip it over, hold it like that, and then you're going to get a Sharpie or something and just poke through the holes to mark where you want to put, sorry if my head gets in the way. There you go. Just so that you know where you want to put your eyelets. But I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. The eyelets are in on my fun little fabric cover. And you can see if you put it on top of your foam frame, those should match up, like so. Now all we need is a strap. Now if you made the strap on my last tutorial, then you're good to go. But if not, let's go ahead and make one. You will need some 1/4 inch elastic. I like black because it goes with everything. And you can see I got a giant spool. I'll link to this. We got it on Amazon. I don't remember how much, but it wasn't too expensive. And I've found that 30 inches is a good size for the average adult head. So my mat here is 16 inches. So I'm gonna go just under that. We'll cut good. Just cut a little of that. Perfect. Okay, so there's our length of elastic. Now we need to make these removable because the way this mask works is that the elastic is what holds the fabric cover onto the foam frame. So we're going to be adding some jewelry findings to the ends of this. I had to pause to go grab all my hardware. So you're going to need your elastic. Now this is going to want to fray, so I found the best thing to do is get a lighter and just melt the ends real quick. Also, this is just super fun. Just like that, and then they're not going to fray anymore. Now for the hardware, these are jewelry findings. You should be able to find in any jewelry store. I'm not sure how well you can see these, but these are cord clips, or crimps, I think, that we're going to be putting on either end. Then you will need a lobster claw. This is a whole bunch of lobster claws. You only need one. And then you'll need a little tiny O-ring to attach the lobster claw. My elastic is all done. And I'll probably have John zoom in on this, but as you can see, I've got a lobster claw on one end, and the other end is just the cord crimp, which happens to have a little loop on it, so that the two can hook together. Okay, so the last thing is just to show you how to string up your mask, because this was a challenge for me, but I finally, I think, gotten used to it. Now I like to have the lobster claw on the top of my head as opposed to around my neck because I find that a little scratchy. So if you like the same, then what you're going to do is you're going to start, this is the top of the mask, start on the top grommet. Pull your thread, pull your elastic through, then go to the bottom of the same side, pull that taut. Now go over to the other side, sorry. And there you're going to start at the bottom on the other side, and the bottom front as well, as you can see. I'm going through here, and then out through the top. And then when you're done with that, sorry, it's a little fiddly. When you're done with that, both of your ends will be coming out of the top holes on the mask. So you can just clip those together with your lobster claw. Go. Sorry. And there you go, that's your mask. And again, the lobster claw is on the top, just because I found it's more comfortable to have it over my hat or my hair as opposed to on the back of my neck, because I find that a little scratchy. But there you go. You're all done. Yay!
So beautiful.
Nice, nice. I do like that line down the middle. That's really fun. Okay, give me blue steel. I hope this was really helpful for you guys. As you can see, I'm having a little too much fun making all my different covers with the pretty fabrics and things like that. And also keep in mind, you can always make the foam frame an accent color to go with your fabric, because that's just kind of fun too. So again, hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below and I'll try to get to it, and we'll see you next time. Bye. And now Eva just jumped on the desk. She's here to inspect. Oh! Oh, she just had to be in the video, didn't she? Yes, she did. Getting cat hair everywhere.